Now I'm going to show you how to attach your Smart Swim to the OBAOLAY sport goggles. And these can be used for running or cycling. But you want to be really careful. I'm going to say, first of all, you want to be really careful. You don't want to be distracted from the road or distracted during the bike, because you're going much faster during biking or running. So you want to stay in focus, and you want the display ideally to be up into the right hand corner of your eye. So you only glance at it occasionally, like you would glance at your speedometer in your car. You're not going to be watching videos, right, obviously, while you're running or biking. You don't want to trip in a hole or trip over something or run into somebody. In this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble your OBAOLAY sport glasses to your Smart Swim in the right eye dominant position. This assembly will require the following bungees. One small bungee for the nose notch area, one small bungee for the temple area, a large bungee for CPU notch 1, and a large bungee for battery pack 1 and battery pack 2 areas. Now the OBAOLAY goggles the strap on the OBAOLAY goggles can be removed by simply pulling down and pulling it out. So you'll want to do this now. Put that off to the side. The next step, we're going to put your battery pack bungees on, and your CPU bungee, and the nose notch bungee in place. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is put the plug in to the charge port, keep it out of the way. I'm going to take one large bungee, put it on, take a grappling tool, strap it around like this, and pull it down with the grappling tool all the way down onto the CPU, and all the way down to the second notch, the first notch of the CPU, down here. The next large bungee will go to the battery pack position 1 here, and then the last large bungee will go to battery pack position number 2. And now we're going to take the small bungee and put it right here as a spacer, and I'll show you what that does here in a minute. So I'm just going to put it around the notch, and I want to make sure I don't scratch the display. You're going to carefully just pull that into place. It's going to rest right about here, right at the end of the display, so it doesn't interfere with your display, but it's going to allow spacing, and that spacing will prevent the displays from interacting with each other. The display won't interact with the face of your sport goggles, so there's no scratching between the two surfaces. Now next we're going to do is we're going to thread the OBAOLAY strap through the 2 bungees in the back, the third bungee on the CPU, and we're going to get that ready for assembly. Now here I will use the grappling tool to pull the bungee away and slide the strap in to place like this. Now you're going to have to work this a little bit to get it past the adjustment for your strap. And again for the second battery pack connection, and it might slip off, that's okay. You're going to readjust after everything's together, so just get them generally where they belong for now. We're going to go all the way the other side of this until we get everything together. This will make it easier for us to move the bungees into place. Now we're getting closer. Now what I'd like to do now is I'm going to put the tempo bungee, which is another small bungee, right here in place, and get that ready. So that's going to slide on. To your tempo position on the OBAOLAY goggles. Now I'm going to go through the CPU bungee with the strap, with this strap from the OBAOLAY goggles. And then what I want to do is I'm going to connect the tempo bungee just on the outside of the back side of the display on the Smart Swim. And that's just basically all we're going to do is I'm going to hook this into the display. Careful not to scratch the 2 surfaces. Bring it over. And you could do that in either order. if you wanted to wait and put your nose notch on last, but I put it on now so it'll always keep it from interacting with the two surfaces, because if they interact, because there's going to be a little bit of motion here, it's not like your swim goggles, so it might have a tendency to slide between the two surfaces, and we don't want that to happen. So now we've got this far with it. So I'm going to take the CPU bungee back a little bit so I can hook up the strap back into the front position here. Thread that back, and then we're going to bring the large bungee back to the first CPU position here. There it is. There you go. So I'm going to take the strap adjuster here and we're going to bring that back to the center of the battery pack back here. You're going to have to make adjustments for the strap, the headband, how this fits on your head. It's going to be different for all of us, obviously. The strap connection here will be at different locations. You should have it fitting comfortably on your head. And what I have found is to have the brow band be more of the support than the nose bridge. So even if you have to raise it up just a little bit on your forehead, and I'll show you that in a minute, it'll give you more comfort on the bridge of your nose. And that's it. So that's the assembly of your OBAOLAY sport goggles to your Smart Swim. And you can see there how the nose notch bungee prevents the two displays from interacting. So this will put the display kind of up to your right, the virtual display. And that is the assembly of your Smart Swim to your OBAOLAY sport, biking, running, kayaking goggles. Okay, and this is the final fit of the OBAOLAY sport goggles to my Smart Swim. And you can see how that looks. And one thing I have found is that by holding your, moving the OBAOLAY goggles up on your forehead will alleviate some of the pressure you might experience on your nose bridge. I think we're all different, our faces are different, so the nose bridge may wear a little bit on your nose, not so much. I've pretty much worn them comfortably for 1 hour sessions without any redness on my nose. And then here you can see I can adjust, and if I adjust the display up and down, right, it will stay in that position. So you can find the right position that really shows you the full display on your eye. Now be very careful about safety here because you are running, you're riding a bike, you want to treat it like the speedometer of your car. So you're going to glance at it, get the information, carry on. You don't want to be continuously watching. You're not going to watch a video of this. You're pretty much going to use it referenced just like in the speedometer of your car.